What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you guys having a great day so far. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the brand new collab that just started up in game a couple days ago. And I've been scouring all of your comments, reading along other people's channels, and obviously other forums, discords, and all that. And I've been hearing so much negativity about this redoing of this past collab with He Man and Skeletor. So if you guys are not aware, there is a brand new collaboration with this intellectual property, He Man and the Masters of the Universe. Two champions that are specific to this IP is going to be He Man and Skeletor. Skeletor is going to be a free champion that we can get from his 7-day login. You can kind of see here Skeletor Chase. After 7 days of just logging in, you're going to get a free champion. Now, Skeletor, he sucks. Everyone kind of know he sucks. He just got kind of rebalanced a little bit. Every part of his kit was improved for the better, and there's really no complaints anywhere other than he still kind of sucks. But every part of his kit is actually way better than it was before. The problem with him is that he's kind of a single target control champion. And that just isn't really good enough nowadays, right? He wasn't really viable before Mercurial was in the PvP meta, and now with Mercurial further kind of making some of these debuffs not really relevant, it's going to be harder and harder for Skeletor to kind of fit into arena usage. Now you could potentially use him against some bosses. For example, you can use him against Chimera. He does bring decreased attack, decreased speed on a single target. This is kind of perfect for like a boss encounter. He also brings increased accuracy, which again can be quite useful. But his kit kind of mainly is a control type of kit. He has the petrification on his passive. This is newly added, and I think it's a really big part of his kit. Makes him a little bit more of a threat, because if you get petrified, it's a really big loss for you, because that champion's basically out of the game for a little bit, right? And of course, he has the single target petrification still on his A2. Again, a very good single target crowd control ability, but again, it's only single target. It's kind of not enough. Ultimately, he is a free champion. If you guys didn't know, we can still get a duplicate of him. So if you were playing before, you can still pick him up and get a duplicate and then fill up your faction guardians and all that stuff, which is very nice. Like me, for example, I'm very happy that we're getting a second Skeletor, because that actually will fully finish off my Knight Revenant faction guardian. So he's going to be my plus 10 speed on all my Knight Revenants in my account. So that's really good. I'm really happy to get an extra Skeletor, even though I'm not going to use him in any kind of capacity. Still happy to get him. Now, the other bit of value that we can get from this Skeletor chase is the phase 2 part. So the phase 2 part, you can actually get a 5-star soul for Skeletor, and you guys can actually sell this for essence material, and that's going to lead for getting more material towards buying, whatever soul you're interested in, right? So there is some value here. There is a primal shard up for grabs also. So this is not totally wasted. However, ultimately, he's just not a very exciting champion to get even for free. I mean, if he hits that nostalgia note for you guys, then that's great as a free champion. But I really think that Plarium kind of missed the mark here with this re-release of these two champions with Skeletor and He Man. They could have made like better updates, or perhaps make a new version of them. Like, they're not opposed to making different versions of the same champion in the game. For example, we have Elhane, we have Supreme Elhane, etc., etc. We have Death Knight, we have Ultimate Death Knight. Why not have an Ultimate Skeletor, or Supreme Skeletor, or Skeletor Ruler of the Universe, or whatever, right? They could have just updated this guy a little bit. And the same could go for He Man. Now with He Man, He Man's a slightly different conversation, because he is a pay-to-win champion. Now I'm sure they're going to offer He Man up for like some kind of shard event where you can get some boosted rates on him, if you so choose. But obviously, to get He Man, the easiest way is to just pay the Elite Pass and just buy him. So for me, it's 55 bucks Canadian, or 85 bucks for the whole shebang. You still get He Man either way. Like you can kind of see here, I got the avatar just by doing the free pass. So I don't spend money in this game, and I would never just willingly tell you guys blindly to spend money in this game. So we're going to properly look at what He-Man can do and who should actually pick up He-Man if you guys are new to the game. Now, I highly recommend you guys jump in here and just grab whatever goodies you can for free. You know, you still get some decent stuff here, and it's all for free anyways. But again, they could have done some updates with this whole pass thing, maybe a new avatar, for example, and they missed the opportunity to give He-Man a little bit of an update to his kit to make him a little bit more interesting for some of the newer players, and also to help players that already have He-Man feel like they're getting something out of it. With that all being said, I totally understand why people are disappointed in getting He-Man re-offered again. So if you were playing a year and a half ago and you got He-Man from the past, it's the same kind of situation. You had to pay for the champion pass and then you get He-Man, or you pull him from dedicated events. And now we're seeing a redo of that collab again. It does feel a little bit disappointing, especially if you had higher elevated expectations, but it's not all terrible because players that have been playing for a lot less time, now they get reintroduced to a little bit of nostalgia here with He-Man and Skeletor. They get a chance to get Skeletor for free, and they get a chance to buy He-Man if they want to. He-Man is totally optional, guys. He's still a serviceable champion. He brings a big speed in arena battles. He's a good overall damage dealer. He's got a single hit on his A1. He's got an extra hit possibility here, turn meter boost. He's got a big single hit ignore stone skin ability here. And then he has a humongous AoE attack that scales off of buffs. He can self-buff himself with strengthen and plus attack, and also increase his stats. He's generally a pretty good damage dealer. Now, the problem is that players that have been playing and with him for the past 18 months have probably outlived his usefulness, because the meta nowadays includes not only Stone Skin, which he does counter. He's a good counter to Stone Skin, but now it includes Mercurial, and He-Man is not necessarily the best against Mercurial. So today's He-Man in 2026 is worse than He-Man was 18 months ago. It does feel like you're getting less He-Man now than you did 18 months ago. But does that mean that He-Man is completely not purchasable? I don't want to say purchase this champion, but I think if you are a brand new player, He-Man does offer you a serviceable damage dealing champion that you may or may not have. Now, for example, if you pick the champion like Tholen Foulbeard as your free promo champion from your your new player promo code or whatever, Tholen is actually a very serviceable AoE damage dealer. He hits relatively hard. He's self-buffing. He has additional versatility with his weaken. He also softens up the attack from bosses. So he's very serviceable. But for example, if you didn't pick Tholen and you picked a support champion, maybe you don't have a very good damage dealer. And I'm talking as a brand new player. And if you wanted to spend money in this game, paying $40 or whatever it is, $50 for a champion of He-Man's caliber is actually not that expensive in terms of raid dollars, because in raid it's super expensive. You could literally spend hundreds of dollars on shard events and not pick up anything, let alone a champion that's as good or better than He-Man. So if you were just looking for a strict, plug-in option to improve your roster right away, then maybe buying the champion pass for He-Man kind of makes sense. It'll help you go through waves. He'll do some good damage against bosses. He'll do some damage against Hydra, against multiple bosses, and he could probably help you in some of the lower areas in the arena. At the very least, he gives you a speed aura also, and yeah, he can be a nice AoE damage dealer for you. But for players in the end game, and I think this is where the vocal disappointment is coming from, players in the late game, in the end game, playing for at least a year and a half, that have already seen He-Man, already seen Skeletor, that are, heavily immersed in the Mercurial meta. They don't see He-Man being a very viable champion for their roster anymore. And that totally makes sense, and that's totally reasonable and understandable why they would feel disappointed and why they would say, don't buy He-Man. He makes no sense to get right now because he's just not going to be very good. But I will say that when I do takeovers, I do see a lot of accounts. Some are relatively new, some are like mid game or early game, and they don't really have a very good roster. But sometimes I've seen rosters that are particularly poor that have He-Man, and He-Man is the guy that carries that account. So I definitely do think that he does have value, especially for a early game or a progressing account. He hits hard enough. He has a nice speed aura. He's self buffed, so he's not reliant on having Arbiter right away. And he deals with one of the hardest things to deal with in PvP, at least one of the things to deal with, which is Stone Skin. So it gives players that option. So if you want to buy He Man, and if you like He Man, if you have nostalgia for He Man, don't feel bad about it because somebody's really bringing it down. Make sure you assess your account properly. Make sure he's going to be able to help your account. And if you just want, like I said, a plug and play good DPS champion, he's going to be your guy, right? And for people that are end game players that have no interest in having He Man or an extra He Man, then just take the next couple weeks off. Just forget that this actually exists. We're not getting additional events or anything like that. It's just these two champions put into the game just for people to pick up if they want to. I fully expect the Plarium to actually launch some kind of bigger scale event alongside He Man and Skeletor, but not going to be He Man or Skeletor themed, if you guys know what I mean. Similar to how Predator and Alien was released. And then the Assassin's Creed, multi-month collab with the event dungeon was open at the same time that Predator and Alien were available. So I fully expect He Man and Skeletor to be kind of part of a bigger thing, but not specifically they will be the big theme of that thing. So we can just, have a week or two just to save up our resources and look forward to that. Don't mind this too much. I don't mind Plarium bringing these champions back, although it's a little bit of false advertising, especially if they advertised it as you'll never be able to get this champion again. And then, people have FOMO and then they want to buy the champion or whatever. And then they bring it back 18 months later. It's kind of false advertising. But hey, the flip side is some people might be really, really happy. They might have missed out on this a year and a half ago, and this is their opportunity. So I think the negativity is a little bit overblown. Let's look at it positively, guys, and just enjoy some free extra goodies along the way. So that's my 2 cents on everything. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this He Man and Skeletor Masters of the Universe collab. Are you guys interested? Are you guys disappointed? I've been seeing, like I said, comments. A lot of people are very, very disappointed. They were expecting something else. But honestly, there's some good here, and I don't think the negativity is fully warranted. This is purely optional stuff. You don't have to participate. You don't have to buy He Man, and I'm sure something else will be coming along in the game pretty soon. Anyways, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching until the end. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.